Welcome to Bhakti Steps. We'll continue reading Bhagavad Gita where we had stopped, 18th chapter. Before that, we'll chant the prayers on my screen. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Sopatantikam Vande Ham Shri Guruho Shikta Padagamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावने श्री विषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव जगत्तानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So last time we stopped at verse number 40. Okay. So last time we were discussing on the three modes. Yeah, we were discussing on these points: renunciation, knowledge, these are all in three modes. Then karma, these are all in three modes. Understanding, buddhi, determination, happiness, like that. So we discussed all these points till 39, 40. They're all in three modes. Now we'll go to 40th verse. There is no being existing here or among the demigods in the higher planet system which is freed from the three modes born of material nature. See, even devatas, everyone involved, they are under the three modes. Okay, they're not above the three modes. So, do you know which mode Lord Brahma is under? Do you know which mode he is under? Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Which mode? Any thoughts? Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Mode of goodness?
Mode of passion. His body is made of mode of passion. His body is made of actually intelligence, which is mode of passion. He is engineer, so everything is very passionate to him. But mode of goodness is there, but passion is also there. And then Lord Shiva, he controls which mode? Mode of ignorance. He controls mode of ignorance, tamas. So whenever destruction is to be done, it comes that. And those who are under the modes of ignorance, the pishachas, the ghosts, the yakshas, the rakshasas, he takes care of them. Somehow they are attracted to him. So the devatas are under three modes. Is Vishnu under the three mode? No, because Vishnu is not devata. So like that. Now Krishna is talking about the Varna ashram system that he created, and that is also under the three modes. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are distinguished by qualities born of their own nature in accordance with the material modes. O chastiser of enemy. So these qualities are born. Okay, so these qualities are born of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. We will see what are those qualities. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. So Brahmanas, they have this quality. They're peaceful, they're self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, like that, and religiosity. The most important for the Brahmana is peacefulness and religiosity, studying the Shastras. Kshatriyas, heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, leadership. These are natural qualities of Kshatriyas. So they will be the heroes, they will be courageous, they'll be leaders, they'll be very highly determined. Then farming, cow protection, business are natural work for Vaishyas. Vaishyas will do cow protection, business, Vanijya, and farming. And for the Shudras, they will serve the others. They'll do labor and serve the others. So we see these qualities that are there, in so many people all around us. We see some are of Brahmana type. They want to know more about knowledge. They have wisdom. They do PhD. They study. They become teachers. So they have a tendency to become Brahmanas. To become Brahmanas, they have to have all of these qualities: self-control, religiousness. Okay, they may have certain tendencies like knowledge, wisdom, and all that. But if they want to become a Brahmana, then they should be religious and self-control. Similarly, Kshatriyas, there are many who are very heroic. They want to control, they want to be leaders in the society. Hmm? So they have these kind of qualities with them. Then business people, they want to do business, so they should do again also do cow protection and farming. And then there are Shudras. They are simply interested in serving others, service based companies. All these IT professionals are nothing but in the Shudras only, because we are servicing others, right? Like that. By following his qualities of work, one man can become perfect. Now hear from me how this can be done. So we may have these tendencies. If we follow the dharma of all these varnas, then we can become perfect. How it is done? By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his work. So we say, right, we offer the results to the Lord, we offer the results to Krishna. Don't we say that? So this is the verse. This is the verse. We, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through work, through his own works. Okay. Can someone read this purport? We'll go through the whole purport. Can someone read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Go ahead, Madhuri.
As stated in the 15th chapter, all living beings are fragmental part and parcel of Supreme Lord. Thus, the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all living entity. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. Janmodaya Asya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And as stated in this seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord by his two energies, his external energy and internal energy, therefore, one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnava devotee worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His external energy is the reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the extension of his primary portion as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the super soul of all all human beings, all animals, everywhere. One should therefore know that as part everyone should be engaged devotional service to the Lord in the that is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in particular type of occupation by Rishikesa, the master of the senses, and by the result in which one in engaging the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna should be worshipped. If one think always in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 12.17, Tesam aham samud. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a duty. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection.
Yeah, thank you. So, so we should worship the Lord. We should engage in the service of the Lord by the results of our work. Hmm? That is the main aim. Okay. So, can you tell me various ways of engaging in the service of the Lord by using the results of our work? Various ways. Which are there? Can you tell me that? Yes. Can you give me various ways of how we can engage in the service of the Lord?
Prabhuji, any kind of service we will do, no, that is only
Which
like
one?
chanting. There's a
No,
temple.
no. Result of the work. We have to use the result of our work in engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord. We all are working, right? We all are doing something. Some karma yoga we are doing. I mean, some karma we are doing. Now, how to connect it with the Supreme Lord by offering all that? I want to know various ways of doing it.
Prabhu, one is prasadam, offering food.
Good. Most of the time, 3 times we cook food, right? We can offer food to Krishna. Yes. Next.
Donating
Some
money to temple.
sometime we go yatra also, na Prabhuji. So this is also very
Huh.
much.
Good. Going money to Krishna temple. uh, Good point. Third, what you said, yatra.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Uh-oh.
Service
Huh?
in our
What?
Krishna temple.
What?
Doing physical service in our temple. Doing physical service in our temple.
Physical service in temples. Okay. What more ways? If someone cannot donate money to the temple, then what will they do? They'll donate any kind of
Seva.
item, like grains, milk, wood to temple, right? Anything more. Let's say if Krishna temple is not there, then how will they do?
They can donate to a devotee, Krishna's devotee.
Yeah, donate to service of Krishna's devotee. So he will use it in spreading Krishna consciousness. 7 is, conducting festivals of Krishna. Janmashtami, Dashahara, Diwali, all that. Sometimes people do that, right? They put money in that, they conduct a festival for Krishna, the temple, and that's how they use. Anything more? Anything more that comes to your mind? If somebody is doing a work in the government and all that, then he can use that influence to protect dharma and Krishna temple and holy places, right? If somebody is in government position, if he does this, then that is also service to the Lord, right? We are doing Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. How will a Brahmana use the result of his work? How will Kshatriya use the result of his work? How will Vaishya use the result of his work? And Shudra? Vaishya we discussed charity. Charity to Krishna devotee in propagation of Krishna conscious activities. Okay, this we discussed. Now, how will a Brahmana use the result of his work in serving the Lord?
He'll worship the Lord Prabhu
Okay, good.
in the
Worship.
temple.
Yeah, and
He spread his knowledge, Prabhuji.
he will study scriptures, and what he will do? Spread it and teach to others.
Yes,
Right?
yes, Prabhuji.
Anything more?
And also Bhagavad Gita he will distribute, no, Prabhuji.
He'll distribute books. Okay, got it. Okay, Kshatriya, what he will do with the result of his work? What would the
He'll
kings do?
protect the temples, he'll protect the devotees.
Protect temples,
He'll give protection, Prabhu, to temple and devotees.
temples, devotees, and he will build also temples and celebrate festivals, Krishna festivals. This is what the kings used to do, right? And Vaishyas, they will give what all? Money, grain, milk, etc. And what the Shudras will do? How will they use the result of their work in serving the Supreme Lord?
Serve in temple, Prabhu.
Physical service in let's put it like this, in above
Devotees,
uh,
Prabhuji.
if they serve in above 3, that is also serving Krishna, right? Simple, right? Like they will do physical service because all this requires physical service, no? To a Brahmana also they have to serve. How? For transportation, for staying, you know. For Kshatriya, they have to help in building and all that. The Kshatriya is not going to build, he will sponsor the temples. For Vaishya, they have to harvest the grains, get the milk and all that. So he will provide physical service for above services. Getting? Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
This is how it will do.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Another way to look at is it at eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These also are our activities. Every day we do. So how do we utilize eating in serving Krishna?
Make prasad, Prabhuji.
Yeah, prasad. Good. Sleeping.
Sleeping is important, but जितना चाहिए.
Yeah, sleep at the right time and right amount. Okay,
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
so that body is fresh in the morning to do spiritual sadhana. Get it? Agar if sleep is not done, then we will sleep in the chanting only. Right? Mating. How is mating used in Krishna's service?
To invite a spiritual soul.
Ah, all that is Garbhadan Sanskar.
Yes, sir.
Spiritual activity before and after of mating. To beget child with spiritual inclination. Getting? Okay. Defending. Protect dharma. Protect Krishna consciousness. Right? All these things. And protect Krishna consciousness of all family members, society, everything. That is all how we can use the result in Krishna service. Getting?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Any questions? Any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Next verse. It is better to engage in one's own occupation. So, we may be any one of this occupation, right? Our inclination could be one of them, isn't it? So, it's better to be included in in our own occupation and serve Krishna that way, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. So, what other profession Arjuna wanted to do other than warrior in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita? He said, let's become this instead of fighting. What did he say? What other profession he wanted to do? Do you know?
Vaishya, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Vaishya.
No. Which other profession he wanted to do? In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says this.
Brahman.
No. It's better to live in this world by begging. He wanted to become a beggar. So, just hold on, please. Okay, sorry. So, it's better to engage in one's own. So yeah, Arjuna wanted to become beggar. Now, can someone do a begging occupation much better than the beggar himself? Yes or no? What do you think? Hmm? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Can If someone is told to do begging, will he be able to do begging? Yes, no.
No, Prabhuji.
Can he do acting of begging? Can you do acting of
Yes, of
begging?
course. हाँ वो कर सकते हैं.
Yeah. So that's what Krishna is saying. You may do acting of begging perfectly. Okay. You may do acting of begging perfectly, but that is not begging. That is not your occupation. Like a Kshatriya may act like a Brahmana, a Kshatriya may act like a Vaishya, Shudra, but it won't remain for long. Will it remain for long? If Arjuna becomes beggar and somebody doesn't give him charity, what will Arjuna do? What will Arjuna do? Tell me.
He
He's,
will become angry and
yeah, he'll become angry. He'll say, why are you not giving me? And that's not a beggar, right? Isn't it? So Krishna said, don't do another's occupation. Find out what is your nature. And he gives these four varnas, and he gives the qualities, na? He gives the qualities. Uh, hmm. He gives these qualities, na? So looking at these qualities, we should figure out what is our nature, isn't it? Isn't it? So that's how we need to figure out what is our nature, and that should be our occupation. Then we'll be happy. See, we are training our children to become engineers, doctors, whatever, but they should have that kind of nature also. They should have that kind of nature. So we should see what nature they have, and we should direct them in that area. If they have a business mind nature, you put them in business. There is no need to put them in shudra activity. Otherwise, what will happen? Let's say somebody has a business mind. Somebody has a business mind, but he is put into labor, service others. What will happen?
he will not be able to do it because he don't have that
Let's say he does
capability.
it. He does it very nicely.
He will not be satisfied.
Yes, he won't be satisfied. Then what he will do?
Will
If
try to leave it or try to search
okay, he will
something else.
leave it, and then what he'll do? He won't be
He'll try
satisfied.
to find according to his nature, so he'll go
Yeah.
to do the business only. Yeah.
Yes. See, so many engineers are produced, right? They go and work in the industry, right? Some of them have business mind. So after working for a few years in industry, what they do? What they do in Bangalore?
They start up
Yeah.
to do the
So actually, they
business.
are not engineers. They are business mind people. Startup is just one thing, just a face of it. So originally they had idea of business only. They had inclination for business. But when they were put in labor, they understood this is not for them. So they moved to entrepreneurship. Now you get, you see, some people leave engineering, they become politicians. Why? Because they are driven by courage, leadership. And some leave engineering and then they become more into knowledge, PhD, or they may change everything. You have heard these stories, right? Have you heard these stories?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is the reason why it is happening. So therefore, we should observe in our children what qualities they have, and we should let them go in that. Hmm? Our children should figure out what nature they have. We should observe, that is fine, but more importantly, they should figure out what is in their nature. Hmm? And third thing is, if they want to know their nature, the astrology can also help. Astrology can also tell what kind of nature you have. where you can do better in the Varna system. Getting? So Krishna is saying you can act perfectly, okay, for some time only, or and sometimes you may go crazy because you may not get begging, nobody would give you donation, then you'll get angry on that person. So it is better to do our duty according to our nature, then we are not affected by sinful reactions. What does this mean? It means duties prescribed. Duties prescribed means dharmic way. If we do our nature right, then we won't have any sinful reaction. So it's not like anything we can do. No, just because I like to do business, I will start a business of alcohol, I'll start a business of slaughterhouses, I'll start a business of tobacco or something. It's not like that. The business will be dharmic. Like like the business won't sorry, not here. uh, the business won't affect these things like farming, cow protection. It won't be against these, it will be with the dharma. That is what it means. So when we say duties prescribed, right, it implies that these duties are dharmic in nature, they are not adharmic. Okay, can someone read this paragraph?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, read. Go ahead, read.
Brahmana family in this
Yeah.
way should
uh,
work according to his own nature. No work is
Abominable.
abominable if
Abominable.
performed abominable if performed in the service of the supreme lord. The occupational duty of a brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupation duty of a brahmana or kshatriya or administrator. There are many
Abominable things.
those
Kshatriya has to.
a Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies, and sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of a diplomacy. Such violence and duplicity accompany political affair, but a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty of try to perform the duty of Brahmana. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was Kshatriya. He was hesitating the fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, then he no fear of liquidation. In the business sphere also sometimes a merchant has to sell so many lives to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit, the merchant
Cannot exist.
cannot. There should be taken the simple lie if the merchant said that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is the telling of his lies is compulsory. He should give up perfection and pursue the profession of a Brahmana. That is not recommended. But the Kshatriya or the Shudra does not care. He is served by his work. The supreme personality of God. Even Brahmana perform different sacrifices. Sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such similarly, if a Kshatriya engages which kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the third chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborated explained. Every man should work for the of yajna or, or for the supreme personality. cause of bondage. This conclusion in that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord.
Okay. So a Kshatriya has to kill, a Vaishya, a Brahmana has to kill animals, a Vaishya may have to, tell lies to make profit. A Shudra may have to do something. Okay. So there will be some fault in the occupation, but one should not give up because there's a fault. Okay. Because there's a fault, one should not give up. Every endeavor is covered by some fault. Some fault will be there, just as fire is covered by smoke. See, even fire has smoke around it, but we need fire. Why do we need fire? For warm, for cooking, for so many things, for heat, and right, we need fire. Just because smoke is coming, do we stop cooking? In the olden times, the food was cooked on wood fire, right? Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So if the smoke comes out, will they stop cooking?
No.
What will they do? They will have something like a pipe or something, and they will blow air in it, right?
Yes, yes,
So
Prabhuji.
that that smoke goes away and there is pure fire, isn't it? And then cooking continues. So even if there is a fault, it is not to be given up. Therefore one should not give up the work born of his nature. O son of Kunti, even if such a work is full of faults, it is full of faults. Some faults will be there, definitely some faults will be there. Like a Shudra may be serving a bad master. He has to carry out the orders of his master, even though it should not be done. This is an interesting point. One should not give up his natural occupation because there are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. That is perfectional point. In particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of the work are purified, when connected with devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within, and that is self-realization. So, uh, let's say there is a bad king, and the bad king orders something. So, in Krishna's pastime, there was Kamsa, and Kamsa ordered whom to get Krishna from Vrindavan. Who did he order to get Krishna from Vrindavan? Who brought Krishna to Mathura?
His sister?
No.
Oh,
Akrura. You heard Akrura?
Yes,
The word,
Prabhuji. Yes,
yeah.
I got that.
So Kamsa, in his kingdom, Akrura was a Kshatriya who was serving as a minister in Kamsa's kingdom. So he was ordered by Kamsa to get Krishna. Do you know why?
He want to kill him.
Yeah. So was it favorable activity?
यस प्रभु जी क्योंकि वो ऑर्डर फॉलो कर रहा है ना वो मतलब
No, no, it
उसके
was
हिसाब
not favorable to Krishna. Getting? It was
वो
not.
कृष्णा नॉट
There was a fault in the order itself. What was the fault? Because they wanted to kill Krishna, right? So there was a fault in it, isn't it? Yes or no?
यस प्रभु जी
Meaning, Akrura knew why he's calling Krishna. He's not calling Krishna to make a temple of him or to serve him. He was calling Krishna to what? Kill him. So in a way, there was a fault in that whole instruction. Yes or no? But still he did, and he connected with Krishna. He prayed to Krishna. When he prayed to Krishna, his prayers became the best prayers in Bhagavatam, the prayers of Akrura. And he performed devotional service. So that's how, if we connect to Krishna, then we can satisfy the Lord. Then defects in that particular occupation are purified. Ultimately, Kamsa got killed. Right? Isn't it? So the defect was purified by Krishna. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. So if one is self-controlled, unattached, he has no inclination for material enjoyment. He's renounced. He gives up the fruits in the service of the Lord. That is the highest perfect stage of freedom from reactions. So then reactions don't affect him. Real renunciation means one should always think himself to be part and parcel of Supreme Lord and think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Since he is part and parcel, the results of his work must be enjoyed by Supreme Lord. That is actual Krishna consciousness. The person acting in Krishna consciousness is real sannyasi, one in renounced order of life. By such mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for Supreme. He is not attached to anything material. He does everything for the pleasure of the Lord. A sannyasi is supposed to do all these things, but a person in Krishna consciousness automatically does that. This state of mind is called Yoga Ruda, perfectional stage of yoga, as compared in third chapter. Yastavatma Ratir Eva Svat. One who is satisfied in himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. O son of Kunti, learn from him how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman. Brahman is spiritual platform, okay? How can get how the stage of highest knowledge by acting in a way I shall now summarize. So now Krishna is going to say how to come to this Brahman platform, how to come to this spiritual platform. Can someone read this? Can someone read this? Go ahead. Someone wants to read?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी
Yeah.
स्क्रीन विजुअल हाँ अभी हो रहा ठीक है 1 minute प्रभु जी Lord describe for Arjuna how can achieve the highest perfection. They simply be being performing the duty for the supreme head. One attains the phase of Brahman simply by renouncing the result of his work for the satisfaction of the supreme Lord. That is the process of self-realization. The actual position of knowledge is in attaining pure Krishna consciousness. That is described in the following.
Okay. So let's see what is the process. Being purified by his intelligence, controlling the mind with determination. So self-control. First thing is self-control. Giving up objects of sense gratification. Meaning only for maintenance, but not for overeating and all that. Being freed from attachment and hatred. Neither attached to anything nor hating anything which is inauspicious. Being neutral. One who lives in a secluded place. Secluded place means it can mean forest, and it can also mean in a place where there are devotees. One who eats little. Little doesn't mean starving. It means eating prasadam and what is required to keep body and soul together. One who controls his body, mind, power of speech. Body has urges, he's controlling it. Mind has urges, he's controlling the mind. And speech, what he speaks, he controls. He speaks what is that is truthful, beneficial, Vedic recitation. Who is always in trance. Trance means he's remembering Krishna. And who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, accepting of material things. He's free from false ego. He knows I am servant of Krishna. He knows the strength, the pride, the lust, anger, everything that he has is to be used in the service of Krishna. Free from false proprietorship. He doesn't think, oh, all these things belong to me. He thinks it belongs to Krishna and Krishna has given me for taking care and I will use it in Krishna's purpose and thus I won't claim it. And peaceful. Such a person is peaceful. Meaning he's not hankering. He's not looking here and there. He is satisfied within himself. Such a person is elevated to the position of self-realization or Brahman platform. Okay. Can someone read this purport? Can
Yes,
someone read?
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, sure.
When
Go ahead.
when one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness. Thus, one becomes the controller of the mind and is always in trance. He is not attached to the object of sense gratification. And he is free from attachment and hatred in his activity. Such a detached person naturally prefers to live in a scheduled place. He does not eat more than what he requires, and he controls the activity of his body and mind. He has no false ego because he does not accept the body as himself, nor has he a desire to take the body by accepting so many material things because he has no bodily concept of life. He is not falsely proud. He is satisfied with everything that is offered to him by the grace of the Lord, and he is never angry in the absence of sense gratification, nor does he endeavor to acquire sense object. Thus, when he is completely free from false ego, he becomes uh, no knowledge all material things, and that is the state of self-realization of Brahma. That state is called of Brahma Bhuta state. When one is from the material conception of life, he becomes peaceful and cannot be uh, addicted. That this is described in Bhagavad Gita 2.8. Ayur
पूर्यमानम अचलम प्रतिष्ठम समुद्रम आपह प्रवशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयम प्रवशन्ति सर्वे स शांतिम आपनोति न काम कामी.
a person who is not distributed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like river into the ocean, which is over being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace and not the man who strive to satisfy the form.
Papa. Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Hmm. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman. So, with someone with such qualities, he realizes as supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So, when he reaches Brahma Bhuta platform, then it's easy to go and do devotional service unto the Lord. Hmm? I'll read this. To the impersonalist, achieving Brahma Bhuta stage, becoming one with the Absolute, is the last word. But for the personalist, one has to go still further. For devotee, one goes still further because he engages in pure devotional service. This means one who is engaged in pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord is already in the state of liberation, Brahma Bhuta, oneness with Absolute. Without being one in with the Supreme, the Absolute one can render service unto him. Papa. Without being one with the Supreme, the Absolute cannot render service unto him. In the Absolute conception, there is no difference between served and servitor. Yet the distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. So here this one statement is enough. Without being one with the Supreme, one cannot render service unto him. Meaning without coming to this Brahma Bhuta stage, one cannot do pure devotion service to Krishna. So one has to come to this pure devotion, Brahma Bhuta stage. In the material conception of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in the absolute truth, absolute world, when one is engaged in pure devotion service, there is no misery. So we are working in this world, right? Various companies, offices, and all that. There is always some problems, isn't it? It is not like we are always happy working in various companies and all. There will be always some problems, even at home and all that. But when we engage in pure devotion service, there is no misery. There is no unhappiness there. The devotee in Krishna has nothing to do, he has nothing for which to lament or desire. Since God is full. See, Krishna is full, he gives us everything that we want. So we become completely happy. We neither lament nor desire.
Prabhuji,
Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhuji, Brahma Bhuta stage means?
Means it is a spiritual platform stage where one is completely identifying oneself to be on the as a spirit, as a soul. Okay, that is for the impersonalist. For the personalist, that is devotee, he is completely convinced that I am servant of Krishna and I will simply serve Krishna in whatever situation it may be. That is Brahma Bhuta stage.
In Kali Yuga, anybody is there, Prabhuji, in this stage?
Our whole devotional service is to bring us to this stage. All devotees are on this stage. All devotees means pure devotees, like Prahlad Maharaj. If you look at this, Prahlad Maharaj, all this,
Prabhuji, Prahlad Brahmaji is it's okay, but in Kali
all
Yuga
our
में
sadhus, all our sadhus, they are in this
नहीं
situation.
नहीं कलयुग में ऐसा कोई है क्या प्रभु जी जो ब्रह्मभूत स्टेज में है
All our
मतलब हम
acharyas,
आचार्य या हाँ
all
लाइक
our acharyas, sadhus,
ओके तो वो इस स्टेज को
yeah, yeah, yeah.
मान सकते हैं
And we can see devotees also. Some of them will be there. शुद्ध
ओके
भक्त
प्रभु जी
होते हैं ना,
हाँ प्रभु जी
जो शुद्ध भक्त होते हैं, we will see these qualities in them. So it is not something unachievable, it is achievable. He is like a river cleansed of all dirty waters. Because pure devotee has no other thought than Krishna. He is naturally joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for the gain. Because he is full in service to the Lord. He has no desire for material enjoyment. Because he knows that every living entity is a fragmental part and parcel of Supreme Lord. And therefore eternally a servant. Okay. He knows he is a servant. He knows everyone else is a servant. He does not see in the material world someone as higher, lower or higher positions, ephemeral, and a devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearances and disappearances. For him, stone and gold are equal. Stone and gold both are equal. This is the Brahma Bhuta stage, and this stage is attained very easily by the pure devotee. In that stage of existence, the idea of becoming one with the Supreme and annihilating one's individuality becomes hellish. So at this stage, the devotee doesn't want to become one with the Supreme, don't want to merge into him. They want to serve him. So they don't merge into Brahman Jyoti, they go to Vaikuntha planets. And the idea of attaining heavenly kingdom becomes phantasmagoria. And the senses are like serpent whose poison teeth are broken. The senses that don't disturb. As there is no fear of serpent with broken teeth, there is no fear from senses when they are automatically controlled. Let's say you enter a home and you see a dog. Are you afraid entering that home? Yes or no?
नो प्रभु जी
Why? You see a dog. You see the dog is
Yes,
barking.
Prabhu, we will afraid.
Okay. Now next you see the dog is tied. A rope is tied to his.
If it is tied and it is not reachable, still us
Yeah.
will not afraid.
Yeah. Exactly. So at Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, the senses are controlled and they are like tied, so they won't affect us. They may bark at us, but they won't affect us. The world is miserable for material infected person, but for a devotee, the entire world is as good as Vaikuntha, the spiritual sky. The highest personality in this material universe is no more than a significant than the ant of for a devotee. Such a state can be achieved by mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So we follow Lord Chaitanya, therefore we'll be able to achieve this Brahma Bhuta stage. Who followed Sri Chaitanya? Who are the acharyas who followed Sri Chaitanya? There were six of them. What are the names?
Sanatana Goswami, Rup
Rupa
Goswami.
Goswami. Yes, the six Goswamis. So when we
Yes.
follow the six Goswamis, we can reach this stage, Brahma Bhuta stage, and we can do Shuddha Bhakti. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Okay. So if